Here I'm checking out a web page that a student made about Joan of Arc, and it's a really good looking web page. I really like it. So I'm curious what CSS styles are making it look the way it looks. Now I've got the code right here, so I could just look through it and get a feel this way, but I can also use inspect element to figure it out even faster. Let me show you. So let's say I want to know about this text here and what's making it look the way it looks. I'm going to right click on it, click inspect element, wait for this thing to pop up. So we can see the text is highlighted. This is a P tag here, and it has a class name. And now I can see I have this styles panel. This is where all the CSS for a particular element shows up. And we can see all the different rules that apply to it and what order they get applied. So this title rule is making it so that's center aligned and bold. I can see that. And this other rule, the I1, is making it so that it has a 0.9 font size and 0.26 opacity. Okay, cool. Now, I might think that maybe it should be more opaque to be a little more readable. I can actually just go in here and play with it and see what it looks like. And this will just update the preview. It's not actually updating their code, it's just updating how it looks in the browser right now. If I wanted them to update their code, I'd have to tell them like, hey, why don't you try this instead? I think this will be more readable. So I can play around with any of these values here. I can also add new properties. Oh, that was big. So if I think that maybe it should be a different color, I could go in and say color, and then it gives me a bunch to pick from, or I can write in a hexadecimal, and then I can get a little color picker and say, oh, I really like this green instead. So I can just really easily play around with things and see what they look like. So when is this useful? Well, it's useful if you're curious about the CSS of another person's web page and you're trying to understand how they achieve some particular effect. It's also useful if you're working on the design of a web page that maybe you don't have access to the HTML for. You can go in, make some CSS changes, and then forward on those suggestions to whoever can change the HTML. And it's also just kind of fun to mess with other people's web pages.